forward and lead us in the singing of O Canada.
Our mic's not on, right?
Thank you to Piper Jim Stewart and the Town of Minto Fire Department for leading the council procession, and the Grey Wellington Theatre Guild for their beautiful voices, and allowing us to use this beautiful venue as well. To honor the members of our community, of our council, who stepped forward to the plate to represent the citizens of Minto. So I'm no stranger to the stage.
No, like right on her mic.
You'll see my photo, a much younger photo of me.
Well, there's a switch right on her mic.
And one of the most memorable one I was ever in was the Odd Couple female version. So, as part of this play, I had to come out off the stage here, drop my jacket, drop my skirt, drop my shirt, but I had a full-length skirt on because it's a PG-rated play. And so about the third play in, and I came out and I did that, and I went, it's kind of breezy out here, and I realized that I had my full slip tucked into my granny panties. Not only that, at the very same time, I made another rookie mistake, and I looked out into the audience, and I see Judy and Dick Dirksen right there. So I promise tonight there will be no malfunctions of clothing. It's the beginning of the new term of council, with both returning members as well as the old. Council will spend countless hours making decisions to continue to make Minto the place where your family belongs. Not only do they attend numerous meetings each month for both council and committees, but also have hours and hours of very dry reading material to deal with, and sometimes long-winded staff reports, but I will not name any names this evening. The decisions they make are not always easy, but they look not just at the present day needs, but the needs of Minto into the future. MPP John Nader has provided the best wishes to the council, and I'd like to read that to you now. Dear Mayor Bridge and councillors, I appreciate the opportunity to offer my sincere congratulations and best wishes to each of you as you embark on the next 4 years of service to the community. I would like to extend a special welcome to those of you who are serving on council for your first term, and thank you all for your commitment to the people of Minto. The impact your role in local government will have on the quality of life for the residents of Minto cannot be underestimated, and I look forward to working with council and staff to continue the strong tradition of dedicated service that makes the community of Minto such a wonderful place in which to live and work. As always, if I can be of any assistance at any time, please do not hesitate to contact me. Sincerely, John Nader, MP, Perth Wellington. At this time, I'd also like to thank all the town staff for the fantastic teamwork that makes Minto a wonderful place to work. A special thanks to Quinn Forder and Tanya Robertson for helping put this evening's events together, as well as their hard work during the election in dealing with hundreds and hundreds of calls and walk-ins with patience and a smile on your face. I would also like to thank the community members who came out to count the ballots on election night for the great job they did as they represent democracy in our municipality. Can I please call upon former Deputy Mayor Ronald Faulkner and former Councillor Marion Caldwell to please join us on the stage, and then my CAO Clerk Bill White to come forward to speak.
This evening, it's my pleasure to present service awards to Deputy Mayor Ron Faulkner and Councillor Mary Lou Caldwell, who both serve on 6 municipal councils. Councillor Caldwell is known for her financial insight as Chair of Finance and strong support for municipal staff and the community as a whole. She served on many standing committees, including the Cultural Roundtable and Economic Development and Planning. Deputy Mayor Ron Faulkner chaired Fire and Emergency Service and served on Minto Trails as well as Economic Development and Planning and others. But he's best known to all of us as Chair of IPM 2016, infamously raising it as an additional item from fall of 2015 to after the event a record 35 times. We all know that IPM 2016 was the last great plowing match to this day. Congratulations to both, and thank you from the citizens, council, and staff of the town of Minto.
You'll have time for the next play, Ron. You'll be in the next play. Nice slide, Mike. Turn that off. See.
Good evening, members of council, past, present, and future. Staff, family, friends, and guests all. It is my pleasure to address you today as the 7th Minto Council is inaugurated. On behalf of the administration, I congratulate all of you on being elected or acclaimed to office. In this election and the last, Minto incumbents who chose to run all held their seats. This says to me that there is support for the work that's being done and the direction Minto has taken. The campaign was at times heated and personal. I hope any remaining divisions are soon put aside. It's never easy to put one's name forward, let alone lose an election. But please take comfort in the fact that you contributed to the democratic process. Thank you for competing for office. Thanks to our piper, singers, and honor guard. And thanks to all for participating tonight. And in particular to the Very Wellington Theatre. A fantastic setting for this wonderful event. And Adam Olvero from Whiteman, who's being up in the wings there, he's the only person who's ever watched all the council meetings in 13. Tonight, as is our way, my wife Terry is here. Members of council past, present, and future know Terry is one of Minto's biggest fans. We will both continue to be huge Minto supporters. And she will continue supporting the North of Wellington with her good work for John Yater. She is a huge part of what I was able to contribute to Minto. And so on behalf of the town, Terry, thank you so much for your love and support. Joining us this evening from the senior management team is Belinda Witt-Graham, Chris Harrow, Gordon Duff, Matt Lubers, and Terry Peckers. I see a few other staff members in the audience this evening as well. Thank you for all being here, and thanks so much to this team for their commitment and dedication to Minto. Thank you to Annalie McRaw, with support from Quinn and Tanya for excellent work organizing tonight's inaugural and of course running the 2018 election. With a turnout of 52% and less than 1% spoiled ballots, I know the vote will count was fair and accurate, and all candidates received the facts they needed to run good campaigns. 4 years ago I said the same thing, but 50+ community people counting ballots see democracy happen in front of their eyes. As Tom Stoppard, the playwright, said, it's not the voting that's democracy, it's the counting. Tonight, a newly formed administration begins a 4-year journey with a new council to carry on a legacy of building this wonderful community. In 2019, Minto celebrates 20 years of amalgamation, something to be proud of. An example of how amalgamation can work. 4 communities come together as one, govern as a single unit, and yet keep their own identity. Thank you to friends and families who support the council members. They will need you to be there for them. Celebrate the good, support the bad. Tonight we witness the new council take over from the old, with a newly forming staff, in a way that promotes continuity, succession, and peaceful transfer of power. Continuity, succession, and peaceful transfer of power are important concepts that are sadly fading from our politics. These concepts may be fading more slowly in Canada when compared to the US, and maybe even more slowly in rural Ontario than other parts. But I am very concerned that continuity, succession, and peaceful transfer of power are being replaced with instability, interruption, and questioning legitimacy. For some, continuity, succession, and peaceful transfer of power are old concepts that don't show action and are not responsive to new things, especially to our instant gratification social media world, or anti-social media as some call it. But I believe the concepts of continuity, succession, and peaceful transfer are noble pursuits that can embrace change in action, things that communities must also always strive for and can never forget. These are the things that will ensure local government survives. So what of continuity? Take it as durability or persistence or stability. There are other definitions, but in our context here, continuity means consistency, working hard to improve communities, never stopping so Minto withstands economic or environmental hazards, making our employment base stronger, restoring and improving landmarks, taking care of infrastructure, integrating new neighborhoods with old. Communities like Minto with continuity remember and recognize the past, integrate it with today's new ideas, and relentlessly pursue actions to make us stronger. Not change for the sake of change, not forgetting, and definitely not rewriting our history. And then succession or transition, carrying on, applies in the case of our staff as an example. Succession means investing in training and assessing and fostering talented people to support the future of the organization. It means improving skill and increasing responsibility incrementally so staff improve on the job, perhaps even without knowing it. It means standing out of the way and letting new ideas come about. Succession in a community means integrating a neighborhood, making sure a supply of different housing types are there in a neighborhood, that roads, sidewalks, and trails are there so people can move from place to place. Industries and residents are separated by transitional uses. Succession is a community in good planning, on a smooth path, consistently monitoring and adjusting. Last but most important, in many ways, peaceful transfer of power. George Washington said, "What is most important of this grand experiment, the United States? Not the election of the first president, but the election of the second president. The peaceful transition of power is what will separate this country from every other country in the world." The last 3 presidential elections had opposing parties question the legitimacy of the elected candidate. One because of razor-thin results, one because of questions of residency, and one because of questions of character. Whatever side you take, this is simply not healthy for our society. Unfortunately, it has led to an inability to govern, considerable lack of compromise in people, and then when some on the media take sides with one candidate or another, no longer pursuing truth or facts. People cannot find a balanced view of the real problems we face. Even worse, people can no longer deal with complex issues. Differing points of view or find compromise. People can't bring things to light in credible and proper ways, discussing problems and differences with dignity, decorum, and propriety without a risk of offense. There is no better evidence of a lack of dignity or decorum than U.S. politics, but it's pretty easy to point fingers. The real tragedy is that bad examples are encouraged and stimulated, and they've trickled down to the people locally sometimes. Where now some issues are not considered with any kind of face-to-face discussion, dignity, or decorum. There is none of empathy that comes with the face-to-face contact. It is take my position on anti-social media, say whatever I want to make my point, regardless of accuracy, relentlessly pursue this point through all forms, and if necessary, call a lawyer if I don't get my way. From the big issue to the small, from questioning election to the pothole on my street, we can find it anywhere. But I believe we will rise above that continuity, succession, and peaceful transfer of power will be upheld in our community, that the new council and the next staff team will preserve it by standing up and practicing it. Keep in mind, 4 members being sworn in here served on Minto Council before 2010. 3 members of both the 5th and 6th Council will serve on the 7th Council. 5 members of the 6th Council, the previous one, will take their oath tonight. And 6 members of the senior management team, appointed by the 5th Council, will provide support to the 7th. This demonstrates Minto's commitment to continuity, succession, and peaceful transfer of power. My true hope is that the 7th Council takes office in that spirit and carries on the 20-year tradition that has made this community a model for many and a leader for most. Thank you very much. I will now call upon Pastor Phil Desjardins for tonight's invocation.
As I was contemplating how to begin this evening, I was reminded of what the scriptures tell us in Mark chapter 10 about leadership. In that scripture, Jesus lays out 2 models of leadership. One that is based on lording it over those that you lead, and one that is based on servanthood and a desire to look for the best of those that you lead. And as we gather in prayer together tonight in this invocation, it is my sincere hope that this council would find themselves chasing after the ladder and not the former. Would you please stand with me for prayer? Gracious God, we are humbled to be in this place this evening. We are humbled to stand as a community recognizing the gift of leadership that you have placed on the men and women who stand here tonight to take their oaths of office. God, we are privileged to be in a country where we have the right and the privilege to have a say in that process. God, that we can stand here this evening confident that these men and women have earned the respect, God, have earned the right to govern. And God, we simply come to you in this moment and ask that you would put your blessing on that right. Father, that they would recognize that their wisdom is not all ending, that their knowledge will have holes. God, that their ability to see the best in themselves, in their community, may sometimes be hampered by their circumstances, by the things they are called to deal with day in and day out. And God, I pray that in those moments when they find themselves at their weakest, that they would remember that you stand beside them. And so God, I just ask that you would rest your hand on these men and women. I pray that they would turn to you in their moments of need, that they would turn to members of their friends and family who support them and encourage them, that they would turn to the best of what our community has to offer and recognize that we are blessed, and that they would be encouraged to keep on the road that Bill Father has so eloquently conveyed for us tonight. A road that is straight and level, that is consistent, that is right, regardless of whatever criticism comes their way. So rest on them tonight. Be with them as they take these oaths of office, God, and I pray that the weight of that responsibility would rest rightly on their shoulders. And that they would find themselves to be servants, they would find themselves to be pillars, and they would find themselves to be first among equals in this place that we call home. In the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord, we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Phil, for those words of wisdom. I'd like to now call upon the councillors to sign the declaration of office. I'd like to call up Mayor George Bridge, please.
I, George Bridge, having been elected to the office of mayor of the municipality of the town of Minto, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any peculiar interest directed or indirected in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. And I will make this solemn promise and declaration consciously believing in it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as is made under oath.
So Mayor Bridge is entering his third term as Minto Mayor. At the end of this term, he will have presided over 12 to 23 years of the Minto history. George follows his father Milton and grandfather George's many years of service in municipal politics. Thank you, George, for your support and commitment to the people of Minto. Deputy Mayor David Turden.
I, David Turton, having been elected to the office of Deputy Mayor in the municipality of the town of Minto, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of the office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and I will make this solemn promise and declaration, consciously believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as it made under oath.
Having been acclaimed, but has won all other elections and led the polls in 2014. David has lived his whole life here and brings to the table his experience as a longest-standing member of the Town of Minto Council.
Minto, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. I make this solemn promise and declaration, conscientiously believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Councillor Jean Anderson returns to council in her second term, having led the polls. Jean has lived in Minto with her husband, County Councillor David Anderson, for over 29 years. Many may not be aware, but Councillor Anderson battled many health issues last term, but has emerged stronger for it, and is ready to bring forward new issues with renewed energy.
I, Judy Dirksen, having been elected to the office of councillor in the municipality of the town of Minto, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. And I make this solemn promise and declaration, conscientiously believing it to be true, and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Councillor Judy Dirksen returns from the 6th council term and was a deputy mayor during the 4th term. Councillor Dirksen and her husband Dick have run their Minto family farm for nearly 40 years. Judy brings a much valued farm background to council. Councillor Ron Elliott.
I, Ron B. Elliott, having been elected to the office of councillor in the municipality of the town of Minto, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of the office in the biased, corrupt, or any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. I make this solemn promise and declaration, conscientiously believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as it made under the oath. Thank you.
Councillor Ron Elliott is a former mayor of Palmerston and Minto, who along with his wife Elaine have lived 49 years in Palmerston. Ron is entering his 3rd consecutive term on council and has seen many changes to this community over the years. Ron is a former governor and active member of the Lions Club and is bringing a wealth of experience to the table. Jeff Addison.
I, Jeff Gudson, having been elected to the office of councillor in the municipal town of Minto, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office, advised, corrupt, or any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. I make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Councillor Jeff Gunson enters his first term on council with 11 years in business and experience with local sports, his church, and is a volunteer firefighter, among many other things. We are thankful to have a member that is not a baby boomer, and all of council and staff are looking forward to Jeff's fresh new ideas for the community.
I, Mark Mackenzie, have been elected to the office of councillor in the municipality of the town of Minto, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received or will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. And I make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as made under oath.
Councillor Mark Mackenzie returns to Minto Council, having served as Deputy Mayor of the town of Minto from 2000 to 2003 and 2003 to 2006, and on County Council from 2010 to 2014. Mark is a great supporter of the Harrison Historical Society and brings his knowledge of historical happenings around Minto, as well as his facility management experience, to the table to help continue moving Minto forward while not forgetting our past. At this time, I would ask Mayor Bridge to come forward for his inaugural address.
Thanks, Emily. It's going to be tough to follow those speakers we just had. I must say, Bill, that was quite a speech. And that's what we've got from Bill over the last 8 years that we had him as our CEO. And as you know, he's going to retire on us and go to the sunny south in the winter times and stick around here for the summer. So thanks very much for your thoughts today, Bob. I'd first of all just like to thank, and I think Bill brought it up in his speech, that he talked about participation of the people in Minto, and the fact that they did go out there and vote at 52%. And I know all the campaigns worked hard, and I got a shout out to my campaign workers and people that helped me. And plus, and we're going to talk about this tonight, I'm sure many of the speakers will talk about it, but family. Family are so important. I've got some of my family sitting out there. I've got Aaron and Grant and Amy, my wife Susan, and Ella, the next generation. Yeah, grade 9, I can't believe it. And you know, if you don't have family to support you, and there's one person that's not sitting out there, didn't quite make it to the end of the campaign, my mom. I knew I should have brought that up. But she was quite a campaigner. She always was. She enjoyed politics. Anyways. And I get on this, I just want to talk about the previous council. And the last 2 councils, I've been a pleasure to have have been with and what we've worked and created, what you see in Minto today. And I'm so proud of the staff and what we've created in Minto and what the two last councils have created. It's a great place to move and live and work. I know it says where your family belongs, that's our motto, and I think we bring that home. And it's people like yourself out there that make that happen. So give yourself a clap. And Ron and Mary Lou, big shoes to fill. You were great the whole time. But I'm looking at this next council, and we've got some good people here. We've got a lot of them back, and the two that are coming back in. And Jeff, it's great to see you. I know you worked twice, and you were at the last one. Almost made it in. You didn't quite make it. Glad to see you here today. And Mark, around the corner there. Mark, you bring a lot of experience and a lot of wisdom back to the council, and you've dedicated your life to the town of Minto over the years, so we're looking forward to having you back. And I've got my right hand now with Dave Turton. We had lunch today, and we were talking about old times and what we've done and what we're going forward in the future. Looking forward to working with you. And Judy and Jean, great team out there at the far end, and good to have that gender out there. I mean, wish we had more. I hate to say it to the rest of the guys, but nice to be a little bit 50-50. It would be nice, but we didn't quite get that. And Ron, you bring a lot of that experience back, and I've always leaned on you with your experience being past mayor, and I know going forward you'll help out as much. So we've got some challenges going into the new year. We've got some succession planning, as you heard. Bill's going to be leaving, so we're working on that. So we're going to look at our staffing, and I think we've got some great young people on our staff, and we can move forward with some of them. Some of the other notes, we had a flood meeting the other day in Harrison, and we got some good ideas coming out of that, and that'll be a big thing that we're going forward with. Recreation planning is another thing that we're looking at. Our youth engagement, I'm really excited about where our youth engagement is, but we have some real challenges in youth right now with our mental health issues and whatnot, so we really need to continue on that path, and we've got some good people working on some of those, so I'm looking forward to that as well. And working with the province and the federal government. I keep harping on the fact that we can't do what we need to do for infrastructure without the federal and provincial government coming back with some of the money. I've said it in our campaign, I keep telling everybody. I've been in Ottawa last week and talked to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and we worked hard, talked to 150 MPs and talked about the fact that property taxes are 9% of the revenue, and we have 60% of the infrastructure. So both levels of government have to come to us and help us, or we'll never get it on property taxes. We can't tax you much more than we already do, and we'll try to keep an eye on that, but we need that money coming from the other taxes that you pay to come back and fix our roads and our infrastructure. So I know everybody's got a lot of things to talk about, so I won't get too long. I think Bill did a great job. He covered all the things I wanted to cover, and I just want to say, it's kind of weird. I know what you feel like now. When we're out in the audience, you can't see us. I can't see you, and I'm more like, are they sleeping or what's happening out there? But that's why I won't be laugh and clap when you can't for everybody, so the people here can know that you're out there. But really, thanks for coming tonight, and thanks Annaline and Quinn and Tanya for putting on such a great show, and the fire chiefs back here, their first big movement, they got their flags going. That's an amazing thing. Chief Harrow and the group. Mike, and so it's all good, and thanks very much.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. Deputy Mayor Dave Turton.
Thank you, Annaline. Mayor Bridge, council, staff, ladies and gentlemen, and to everybody that's been had a part in this evening, thank you very much. It's been an honor and privilege for myself to serve on the town council for the last 15 years. I thank you for that opportunity. I commit to you, not too many promises tonight, but I commit to you that for the next 4 years, I'll work together as deputy mayor with our mayor, council, and the staff to make our town go forward. Our council works hard at looking at the issues and trying to make the right decisions. I know we're not always popular. comments here tonight from our mayor and our CAO, Mary Lou and Ron. You guys are both going to miss you, but we've got some new blood on council, and it's wonderful to see. We've got Mark and Jeff. Welcome, you guys. I look forward to working with you gentlemen over the next 4 years and the rest of the council. To Bill and Terry, as you fade off into the sunset in Texas. Bill, it's been a real pleasure to work with you over the last 8 years. You've been a real asset to us. You and Terry are a wonderful couple. You can be extremely proud of your accomplishments. The list is long. Our town will be well looked after. We've got a great succession plan. We've got, and I should say Bill has a great succession plan with the council helping. We've got a great staff, a great young staff. Pam and I just celebrated our 40th anniversary in October, and I want to thank Pam for all those years. She's always been behind me in everything I do. I thank her for allowing me to take the time to serve my community. We've lived in Minto for 121 years. I love you, Pam. I love my family, and I'm very proud of my family. And thank you, Annalene, Quinn, and Tanya as well. And have a great night.
I'd like to call up on Councillor Jean Anderson, please.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Bridge, Mayor Turton, and the rest of council. I'm really looking forward to working with all of you over the next 4 years. I'd like to thank the public for their overwhelming support in my campaign. And I have to thank David because he was out there helping with campaign. He got a claim to his position, so I think he missed campaign. Shouldn't we be going out door to door some more? Sure, because he likes talking to people, as most people in this room probably already know. I'm looking forward to serving the town of Minto. As mentioned before, I've had some serious health issues over this previous term of council, but I've beat cancer. I've learned to walk again. And I got the benefit of spending a whole lot more time with the community that I was too busy providing health care to be out there involved in some of the other aspects. So I'm looking forward to expanding that further. And I don't have those 2 other issues clouding my mind or occupying my time, so I should be able to really kick it this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Anderson. I'd like to call up Councillor Jimmy Dirksen.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank all of you for attending this evening. It's great to have my husband Dick here and my parents. Family is everything, as has already been mentioned, and it's great to have that support that I have from our family. I don't want to prolong the evening, but I do want to say that I very much enjoy serving as your councillor, and I take that responsibility very seriously. Just want to encourage you to ask questions. Don't be afraid to find out what's going on in your town. Please don't jump to conclusions and make assumptions, because you know what happens when we assume sometimes. You have elected a team that I am both humbled and proud to be a part of. And we also want to mention that we have a fantastic staff and lots of incredible, hardworking residents. So let's continue to all work together to make Minto better.
Thanks, everybody. I'm honored to be elected by the residents of Minto. We'd like to thank everyone for their support during the election. I'm looking forward to working with town staff and fellow council members for the next 4 years. We have great things happening in Minto, and we need to build on it. We also have some big decisions to make along the way. I embrace this opportunity to help mold the future. I also want to thank my family for their support, especially my wife, Sarah, sitting there with my Well, it sounds right. I'm excited for this opportunity and I look forward to getting to work. Thank you so much.
Councillor Ron Elliott.
That's Ron B. Elliott. The reason for the B, you'll probably all wonder why the B. There's another Ron Elliott in Palmerston, and his is Ron J, isn't it? Right? Ron J. Elliott. So everybody wanted to vote for Ron J. Elliott. I thought we'd better let them straight that it's Ron B. And speaking about that, I've been around council since 1988. So I've been around for a while, and I've always had a passion to serve our community. And over the years, that passion has grown. And each year, if you saw me around election time when the ballots are coming in, I just go nuts. I want to even hear so bad. It grows and grows and grows. And each year I get stronger and I feel like I should be. It's like the Grinch. His heart gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So I do look forward to being on this council again. As I look around at our new council, I've worked with everyone here in some way or another. With Jeff, we worked on for years, and we were all through hockey and such like. As the councillors, that we're going to have a really strong council. I can give the people that I look forward to what's going to happen over the next 4 years. I'd like to thank everyone that came out or supported me and voted for myself, and especially those who just voted would be just fine too. I'd like to thank my family, Ron and Cherry are sitting there, my sister Sharon over here. I'd like to go one up on Dave Turner. I was married for 50 years this year. I'm the same age, whoops. Is that me? That's that passion coming out. Okay, no. Yeah, I've been married for 50 years. And I was married when I was 14. So I'm the same age. Again, thank you very much, and I look forward to this term, and I thank you again for coming tonight, and thank you again for supporting us.
Councillor Ron B. Elliott. Councillor Mark McKenzie, please.
Good evening and welcome again. I'd like to say that it's an honor to be elected to your council, our council. I've been on council in the past. I still have a keen interest in our politics. I'm looking forward to working with my colleagues on your behalf. And I'm sure we're going to have a very successful term. Dave mentioned his family's been going around the south side of the township for 120 years. Well, my roots are 165 years on the north side. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish everyone a safe and a happy holiday season and all the best in 2019. Thank you.
Councillor McKenzie. At this time, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Mayor George Bridge for council business, and you will have to speak up because we won't have a microphone at this time.
Your bylaws now, moved by Councillor Dudson, second by Councillor Mackenzie. Bylaw number 2018-88 to appoint signing officers for the town of Minto will be introduced, read first, second, and third time and passed open council and seal the corporation. All in favor? Passed. Moved by Councillor Anderson, second by Councillor Dirksen, that the bylaw number 2018-89 to execute an Ontario Transfer Payment Agreement, National Disaster Mitigation Program for projects related to the impact of national disasters be introduced, read first and second and third time and passed open council and seal the corporation. All in favor? watch this anytime on television. And if you ever want to come out to the council meetings, feel free. We're open to business. Moved by Deputy Mayor Turpin. First one there. And second by Councillor Elliott, that the bylaw number 2018-90 to appoint Christopher David Harrow to the position of Acting Chief Administration Officer effective December 14th, 2018 be introduced, read first, second, and third time and passed over council and sealed of the corporation. All in favor? You're now official out there. Where is it? There you go. Any question, Mark?
I do, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Just to be clear on those two motions.
Right.
I don't have all the background, I have some.
Yeah.
Acting, is that temporary or permanent?
For 6 months. Acting for 6 months.
Thank you.
Now, to clarify that, because there was a lot of, and Bill put it in his speech, there was a lot of talk about how we're going to get through the temporary succession planning, and that we've had that in place. Chris has been acting, he's also the deputy CEO as well. He's been in that position for quite a while. So it's part of what the council discussed and how we're going to go to the next level. We felt we wanted to let the new council have an opportunity to input into a permanent situation. Sure.
Thank you for the background.
Yeah, thank you. Moved by Councilor McKenzie, second by Councilor Anderson, that the bylaw number 2018-91 to appoint Gordon Ralph Stewart Duff. I didn't know Gordon Ralph Stewart. That's interesting. To the position of acting town clerk effective December 14th, 2018, be introduced and read first, second, and third time and passed over council and sealed of the corporation. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Dirksen, second by Councilor Goodson, that the bylaw number 2018-92 to establish a committee of adjustment under the section 44(1)(2) of the Planning Act be introduced and read first, second, and third time and passed over the council and sealed of the corporation. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Deputy Mayor Turton, that bylaw number 2018-93 to confirm the actions of the council of the corporation of Town of Minto respecting a meeting held December 4th, 2018 be introduced, read first, second, and third time and passed over the council and sealed of the corporation. All in favor? This is a great one. Everybody enjoys this one. Moved by Councilor Anderson, second by Councilor McKenzie, that Council of the Town of Minto adjourned to meet again to call the mayor. All in favor? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. At this time, I would invite the Grey Wellington Theatre Guild Choir to sing some Christmas carols for us. Thank you very much, that was just beautiful. I would like to invite everyone back to the library across the hall for refreshments afterwards. Can I first have council members come forward and stand at the front of the stage to get your photo all together first, before we do the recessional. Behind the table? Oh, the three in there? All right. Well, they want you to sit with them. Where you want. They want you to sit with them.
You guys stand behind that.
I should have saved my underwear story for now, and that way you wouldn't just have to be sitting here watching me drive.
We're still thinking about it.
You're still thinking about that? You can't ever unsee that now, Judy, and I'm so sorry for that. Yeah, thank you. He always says one more. Oh, that's what he's him saying. I'm going to ask everyone to please stand.
Minto.